Hey folks, welcome back to Canada's Boxing Channel. Excuse me. I hope everyone's having a good day. Now, before I sit down in front of the big screen TV to watch a day of heavy impact boxing, I thought I would speak to you all about an interview I saw that Fabio Wardley gave. As you know, I'm not normally a big fan of the mainstream YouTube interviews, but I must say that this one, conducted by Box Nation, was actually quite good. I've got a synopsis here based on my notes, but I do encourage people to go and see the full interview. As you know, I like Fabio Wardley. And not only I like him as a boxer, I like him as a commentator, as a speaker. He's a very articulate guy, so you often get more out of him. Like, he's prepared to extemporize in response to a question. He's not one of those sort of yes, no, by any means necessary. He expands upon it. He's just a generally and genuinely a more talkative guy, which makes for a much more interesting listen, if you ask me. So anyways, these are not in any particular order, but it's a pretty good synopsis of the interview. He was asked about what happened to Kubrat Pulev, because as you remember, much of the talk was that he was going to fight Kubrat Pulev for a world championship belt, or as Fabio said, world championship of some sort. So even he knows that it was kind of like, one of those trinket belts. He said that he didn't really want to fight me. That's what it boiled down to. It was about money. Pulev was asking for too much money. Negotiations were dragging on. But Fabio said at the end of the piece, I don't think he wanted to fight me. He's also said that he kind of is aware of what Pulev's next move is going to be, and he thinks Pulev will regret this decision because he doesn't think Pulev is going to get as much money as they were offering Pulev to fight Fabio Wardley. But, such is the nature of boxing, right? He does think that the Miller fight is going to be a better fight in a number of different ways, that Miller's a better dance partner, that Miller's going to be much more engaging. A lot of fans are going to prefer it. He acknowledged that people were saying that Pulev was, past his best, and it was kind of like a bit of a kind of an odd route to sort of get a strap around Fabio's waist. He said that, this is a test. People have been asking me for a test. I've passed all the tests people have put in front of me. But this is a test, and if I get through Miller, then my name needs to be spoken about in the same sentence as, the very, very top of the division. He said that Miller isn't absolutely prime. Miller's 36, but he's close to. He did acknowledge that Pulev is older and a little bit past it. Without being disrespectful to Pulev, he said that, Pulev had a lot of experience, etc. He said he really is proud of Ipswich. That's where he's from. He's a big supporter of Ipswich Football Club. He's very, very happy that Ipswich are making Portman Road available and working with Ipswich FC. He said that the town is a town that sort of gets behind its local people, and that's really good. And he's very, very, very proud of that. And he's very pleased to be able to bring, back to the town. He said he's lots and lots of fans who travel around the UK, and even some travel out to Riyadh. But, to be able to do this in his hometown makes him very, very, very pleased. He was asked about dropping the British belt. Apparently, Fight Disciples had made a post about him dropping the belt, and it was sort of disrespecting the belt. I've commented myself that I feel that the belt isn't held in the same level of esteem that it always used to be. And he addressed that. He said, I've defended it. I won it off Nathan Gorman. I defended it against Fraser Clark. I've defended the belt in Riyadh. I've defended the belt at the O2. I'm left with a choice. Do I hang on to it as though it's mine and then fight every mandatory that's coming up, including every prospect on the horizon? Or do I relinquish it and let the flow of other fighters compete for the belt. And I guess that does make sense. For diehards like me who sort of used to hold the British heavyweight title as almost the equivalent to a world title, it sort of comes as a bit of a, yeah, I guess it's a reality check that it's no longer, maybe it never really was, like that. But Fabio's answer was a very, very good answer, and it was he articulated his thought process very well. He said that he hasn't decided on a game plan with Miller. He said that, when he was, younger, he might have been able to think that, I'm just going to blitz somebody out. And he referred to the Fraser-Clarke fight. He said, I don't want to go in and try and steamroller the guy and then find out that I've blown a lung and I'm sort of struggling. He hasn't decided whether it's a steamroller or a 12 round. He said he's got lots of strings to his bow. He needs a proper analysis of Big Baby Miller. And he recognized that Miller's a very hard night's work. He's not focusing on Miller's weight. He said, look, I've fought guys who were bigger than me before. I've even fought guys who were bigger than Miller before. Obviously not of the same size and quality, but he's fought very big people before. I'm going to focus more so on the way that he fights. He did say it would be nice to, in response to a question, it would be nice to one-up Daniel Dubois, who stopped Miller, but he stopped him at the very end of the fight. He said it would be nice to one-up Daniel Dubois, but he also acknowledged that that doesn't really mean anything. He said styles make fights. When he was asked about PED use, he said, okay, well, look, Miller's clean now, but he's been really dirty in the past. So, the first line of the contract was drug testing. Full and immediate VADA from the get-go. He said, I want to make sure the health and safety of me is a priority and that they're both going to be under the same rules. He said, VADA shows up at my door at 6 o'clock in the morning kind of thing. So that's good. I think it's a concern we all have about anybody who's been juicing in the past. But so VADA, full and immediate effect from the get-go. Let's hope Big Baby sticks to the terms of that agreement, because it would be a real shame for the fight to fall apart because of Big Baby's penchant for Big Pharma. Excuse me, I think that was all the really key highlight parts. And at the end, he did a sort of a call out of Big Baby, where Fabio tried to do an American accent by saying something like, this is my hometown, this is Ipswich town is my town, these are my people, that kind of stuff, sort of trying to mock the Brooklynese that Big Baby will employ. So I'm looking forward to seeing a Big Baby response. I wonder will Big Baby try to do a Brit accent in response? But I think the build-up to this fight will be fun. As you know, I'm not a person that likes trash talking, but I do appreciate humor. And Big Baby, it can be funny. And Fabio is very quick. He's intellectually sharp, right? So I suspect that there'll be a nice little bit of back and forth. It'll help sell the fight. Apparently the Portman Road, which is where Ipswich Town Football Club is located, is capable of holding 30,000 people. So that'll be a good crowd, and I would imagine a very partisan crowd for Fabio. It's one of those things that, I would like to go to, kind of thing. But I will, of course, just be watching on the big screen. The other thing is, and maybe it's just one of those common things to say. But Fabio did say how much Queensberry have really come through for him. He said he'd been independent for a long, long time, but he signed with Frank, and he's very, very, very happy with the way things are going. So yeah, there we go. I think it'll be a good fight. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the build-up. I don't usually look forward to build-ups, but I'm looking forward to the build-up for this one. And I think it could be a tough night. I'll be cheering for Fabio, but it wouldn't surprise me if Miller pulled off a win here. I would very much hope not, and I don't think so. I think that Fabio would prevail. But this is by no means a walk in the park for Fabio. This could be a very tough night indeed. And if he does get through Big Baby, well then yes, let's be talking about his name in the same sentences as we talk about Parker and Dubois and the other top folks. Fabio did say that at the moment he thought that once Usyk retires, because everyone's expecting him to quit after the next 2 fights, that Daniel would be slightly ahead of Parker in the scheme of things. That's not to say he doesn't think Parker could beat Daniel, but he said, in order to be the man, you've got to beat the man, and the belt holder is Daniel. I think that's it. But anyways, Box Nation, worth watching, to be perfectly honest. And I don't often say that about the mainstream, but this was an interview that was worth watching. Thanks very much. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you later on today, probably, to talk about the fights that are going down. Cheers. Bye-bye.